Welcome. Hello, MACC members. I'm Laurel Hansen, MACC's Program and Member Engagement Manager. And welcome to Ask MACC Workforce Edition, brought to you by the Metropolitan Alliance of Connected Communities and our Human Resources team. We know our network is faced with ongoing and incredible challenges when it comes to workforce. It's how we provide valuable services to the community. Our workforce challenges can create difficult hurdles for our organizations to operate sustainably. There can be complex and seemingly insurmountable barriers, but luckily we have incredible HR expertise at MACC. And as a part of our network, you have access to that HR expertise. During this brief conversation, I'm joined by Theresa Bernard, Human Resources Generalist at MACC. Theresa brings her expertise to MACC and our members to provide the HR guidance they need to be successful. Thanks for joining me today, Theresa.
Thanks for having me, Laurel. I'm glad to be here.
During this chat today, we're going to talk about IDEA and its role in our organizations. We know that an organization with strong value propositions has paid attention to compensation and benefits, but it doesn't end there, does it? Centering IDEA in organizations creates a valuable environment for teams to thrive. It's easy to say and hard to do. It's a complex strategy, isn't it? What does being centered in IDEA really mean for an organization as an employer?
Right. So, first of all, IDEA is something that we take very seriously at MACC. It stands for inclusivity, diversity, equity, and accessibility. Right. So we add that accessibility piece kind of in addition to the normal sort of typical DEI strategies, because accessibility is something that people are talking about quite a lot lately. And we don't want to leave that out. And to center IDEA really means you're invested. So it's a long-term investment. It's not about the quick fixes. Yes, do the trainings. Those are some good, quick, kind of bite-sized things that you can do, but also go for a long-term strategy like collect anonymous input, talk to your staff. It's so important to know, are they comfortable? Do they feel included? Do they feel like they can speak freely and be themselves? Are they finding anything inaccessible? So you've got to ask those questions because they may not bring them up. And then once you ask those questions and get that input, follow through, right? Because it's not going to do anybody any good to just hear without the action that comes afterwards.
Absolutely. Yeah, well said. That's very helpful. You work a lot with MACC members. How do you see IDEA showing up in HR policy and HR practice?
Everywhere, right? It's huge. In HR, we have influence over so much that impacts employees, but also potential employees. So consider where you're advertising your open positions. Are there inequities there? Consider who you do or do not choose to interview and eventually hire. Are there implicit biases that you recognize in yourself and need to adjust for? And for the employees, how do your policies land? Are they equally accessible for all? So it's very big, and we take that very seriously at MACC.
And it's a deep dive that can have great implications, but it's definitely sounds like it's an important part of the value proposition for any employer. Um, Another question. It sounds reasonable that an organization that is centered in IDEA is a space of stronger employee engagement. Have you seen that in action at MACC member organizations?
For sure, I have. I've been in a room where folks are open to having a hard conversation without being defensive, and I've seen how that plays out. Sometimes it's tense, but if it's a learning situation, people can absolutely continue to be friendly, to be professional, and move forward from those tense conversations. I've seen that, and it's amazing.
Wow, it's helpful. It's helpful to hear those real stories and the impact that they can have. What is a good place to start for an organization that hasn't addressed IDEA in the workplace yet?
Yeah, good question. Look at organizations that you can compare yourself to. Look at organizations that you admire. Do they have an idea statement? What does that look like for them? Do they have goals and missions that go beyond the idea statement and actually have an action plan? use those to kind of create a representative team within your organization. Come up with a short list of goals that are in concert with your mission and values, and then work on achieving those goals. So, starting out, it might be as simple as just creating your own idea statement. But if you really, really want to dive into it, not only create that idea statement, create those goals, create an action plan.
It sounds like for organizations that are really trying to make some progress and get some traction with their value proposition, that idea is really an important part of that.
Yes.
Um, so I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today about it, Theresa. This is all the time we have now for this discussion, but it's been really interesting, and I appreciate your time and insights. I look forward to our next conversation. MACC members, you're encouraged to visit the MACC website and our Ask MACC page of additional resources. You'll find a variety of information and links to helpful content, including more in this series of recorded HR interviews. So keep in touch. We're here to support you and our network of MACC members. Thank you. Have a great day and be well. Goodbye.